So Dokkan during one of the recent, live streams mentioned that they were going to be reducing the app size of Dokkan. And going through the game, dude, it is so clear. There are so many things that they can remove from the game and adjust and clean up that I would imagine would contribute to the size of this game, because there is just so much fluff. And I want to go through everything I personally would do to clean this game up. Now, again, I don't really know what it takes to optimize a game size. I've never created a game before, but I would imagine having a bunch of assets in the game that aren't really contributing at all and don't really do anything, I would imagine at some level or at some point would end up adding to the unnecessary size that and again, Dokkan has a lot of units in the game, so like I get a bunch of animations, whatever the case may be. But looking around Dokkan, like I said, there is just so much fluff. They could easily remove so many things from the game. And think about this video as not even just a way to reduce the size of the game, but just to make things a lot simpler. Because again, like I mentioned in a previous video, I came back to Dokkan. This is a completely new account, and they have improved this game tremendously. The recent thing of removing the reversal mechanic and being able to feed in dupes of the same character but at different rarities, it's absolutely amazing. But there is so much more that they can do, and this is personally what I would do. You can let me know what you think, but also if I missed something that you would add, let me know in the comments section below. Let's first start off with the items in this game, okay? First things first, what I would personally do is I would remove every single of all of these training items except for the final three, right? So you have these like weights, you have the swords, and you have the turtle shells. And then of course, I mean, you could leave these like candy canes and stuff like that, or like for limited time events, there could be limited time, what's it called? Limited time training items that give a bunch of XP. But every training item that is worse than these weighted items, just remove them from the game completely. Like, if new players who are like veterans, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, veterans of this game. By the way, if my screen is like lagging a little bit, just don't mind it. I need to get a new screen recording software thing, so just bear with me for now. But a lot of the newer players in this game aren't like, sure, we're making kind of use of these, but okay, veterans aren't using these at all, right? And newer players, like, there's no reason for these to exist. All you have to do is change these platinum turtle shells, make it 500k XP. Make these half of that, 250k XP. And these half of that, 125k XP. Boom, you're done. That's it. These become so much more efficient. You can make these a lot more accessible, and you can remove all this gunk from the game. Like, these have been in the game for such a long time, but no one's purposely saying, hey, let me go ahead and use my sacred water to get my character up to level 150. No one. Remove these from the game. There's no reason for them to be in the game. If players, want to have them for collection purposes, fine. So, like, don't remove them from player boxes, but don't allow, like, I guess, I don't know how you would, these should not really be in the game anymore, because again, they just take up space, and no one's really using these. Training locations, this is kind of cool because you get to like represent different places in Dragon Ball, I guess. But at the same time, I feel like these are still kind of like useless, especially with the recent addition of being able to level up the super attack of an LR with their SSR. Like, I feel like if you're a newer player, like I'm a newer player and I have never even thought about using training locations. You can probably clean up the training screen here by just removing this. And I feel like the XP that you would have gotten from these, you can, again, just like compensate for that and put that in the training item itself. Buff up the training items, make them more potent, and just remove training locations in general. Like, I feel like these they're not really serving like the insane purpose. And if there's a way that Dokkan wants you to manipulate the success of your training, like I feel like this game has been a thing for so long that like it's not necessary. It's not that big a deal, bro. Like, just remove. I would say low key, just remove training locations from the game. Period. I don't think it needs to be there. I don't personally. It's not adding. If the fact that I'm a new player and I have not even thought about using these, I have not even. I never grind these. Like, they don't do anything. So either make them useful, or just change or implement what they would be doing to other items in the game, like training items as well. So personally, I would completely remove training locations. Maybe there's something else that I'm thinking that I'm forgetting about, but that's that. Awakening medals. This is another one that I would honestly purposely change. Honestly, King Kai, Gregory, and Bubbles. Oh, this is Bubbles, Gregory, and King Kai. King Kai, Gregory, and Bubbles should be one training item. Sorry, one awakening medal. That should be one. And every unit in the game should use a King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory medal. Every time you awaken a character from SR to SSR, or sorry, from SSR to max level, whatever the case may be, you should be using every single character should be using King Kai, Gregory, and Bubbles medals, and put them into one medal with King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory. Boom, you're done. The next medal that you should be using, and I kind of agree with this, right? You have a Tech Awakening medal, an Int Awakening medal, an STR Awakening medal, a Physical Awakening medal, and an AGL Awakening medal. I like the idea of that, right? Like, I like the idea of, okay, you need one medal for every character to use, which would be King Kai, Gregory, and Bubbles. So you bring one medal in the game that replaces those three. And then you have one medal in the game, because, we also have the gold version of these, right? So this Kami is the same thing, but for Int. Same thing, but for physical, right? So, and then you even have these as well, like the rainbow ones. I honestly feel like we don't need to be doing all that, right? You just have one medal for AGL, and you require more of them as the character increases in rarity. You don't need to have gold and rainbow ones. So you have one bronze medal, right? That bronze medal is King Kai, Gregory, and Bubbles. Then you have one silver medal for AGL that you require more of as the character increases in rarity. So from SR to SSR, it's like 10. From SSR to UR is like 25. From UR to TUR is 50, and then from TUR to LR, I guess depending on the unit itself, right? Because a lot of times you just need a very specific medal to get an LR to get a character from UR to LR. So whenever you need to use these, just have it dependent on the rarity of the character and the rarity that you're actually awakening to. You don't need to have 5 different medals for the same Int character, physical character, whatever the case may be. So you have one for AGL for every rarity, one for Tech, one for physical, one for STR, and one for Int. So that replaces already a bunch of medals here. And then, of course, you can keep the Kami and all that bunch of stuff. The point I'm making here is that they don't need to have all these different kinds of assets in the game. There's so many things in this game that you can condense. Does that make sense? If a character, like I was grinding the this event here for the Great Saiyaman 2 character, and I've been thinking, like, I understand, it's all cool to grind all of these medals, all these different kinds of medals here from this event. But, like, it's not really, like, necessary. Dokkan can clean this game up by saying, hey, instead of requiring 2 of each of these medals to awaken Great Saiyaman, just make one medal, make it, 10, 15, 20 that you need, and maybe combine some of these characters. Like, it should literally just be Gohan and Videl. That should be what the medal is. And then you awaken the character with that medal. Remove all this other BS from the game. Every other character in the game that requires these medals, just make them require the Gohan. Like, it doesn't need to be like this. And there's so many events in the game that kind of follow this as well. These diamond medals, I understand that sometimes you grind them from the Incredible Gem Shop, but you could easily just combine Goku and Vegeta and double the amount of medals that you need. So, for example, right now, let's say a unit requires 10 of this Goku and 10 of this Vegeta. Make it 20 and combine Goku and Vegeta in the Awakening medal. If you do that across all of the Awakening medals in the game, you're probably going to end up saving so much space, because we're not in the era of Dokkan where I need to go to 3 different stages to grind, 3 different medals, bro. It's not that complicated. I want to awaken my character. Let me awaken my character. Let me grind 1 medal, and let me grind them as much as I need to grind that medal to get the character awakened. It should not be grind 10 of this medal, 10 of this medal, 10 of this medal, 10 of that medal, and then 15 of the last medal. Like, no. Combine them all into 1 medal and make me grind the same amount, but just that 1 medal. So again, it would be more, but technically it really wouldn't be, you know? It would make things so much easier. Just so much easier. That's what I would personally do for awakening medals. And then again, like support items, dude. A lot of support items in the game, and clearly this is a new account, so I don't really have all of them. A lot of these support items in the game are they have the numbers. They know what support items are and aren't being used. All of these energy drinks, dude, just make 1 energy drink item, gives you 1 key, and, you know, recovers 10% HP, 20% HP. That's it. You remove all the rest of the stuff in the game. What does this do? Remove all ally status effects. You can combine and condense all of these items. Not all of them, obviously, but a lot of these items could be condensed into 1 item or 2 items or 3 items to make it such that, like, for newer players, this isn't really that overwhelming. But for veteran players, veteran players are still using the Ghost Ushers, the Android 8s, the Whis, the Princess Snakes. Like, it's the same items over and over and over again. So a bunch of these other items, it's cool that they exist. It's cool that characters are getting representation, like this guy right here. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter. If this guy is giving 1 key plus 1 for all characters for 3 turns, combine this with every other ultimate drink and give key plus 1 for 3 turns and 10% attack. And 10% HP healing for that 1 turn. Like, it's not that complicated, but a lot of these items, there's no need for them to exist. Another great point here is that World Tournament Announcer Physical, does the same exact thing as the Videl. It's the same thing. Sometimes I guess it's cool to double up on items for specific missions, but you could just make this 50% and remove the other one. Like, I feel like there's a lot of condensing that they can do to, again, save just a tiny bit of space when it comes to you know, the size of this game, but also just to make things a little bit easier for players that are new or just getting back into the game. And then when it comes to events, bro, I feel like everything is just so messy. It's really unfortunate to see. One of my favorite things that Dokkan has ever done in this game is this Dragon Ball story. Look how neat everything is. You have your Dragon Ball section, your Dragon Ball Z section, your GT section, your movie section. So when I come here to event and I click on you see this little story tab? The story tab should not exist. Every single story event should be categorized under Dragon Ball story, because all these events are the same. You grind treasures, you grind free-to-play characters, you grind items, so on and so forth. That's it. There really is no need for there to be a story tab anymore. All these story events have an update, throw them into Dragon Ball story, and you have, again, you're going to need to include a few more of these tabs. So instead of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and movies, you're going to need Dragon Ball Daima, right, for all the story events related to Dragon Ball Daima. Dragon Ball Super for all the story events related to Dragon Ball Super, so on and so forth. That's going to be beautiful. And then once you've grinded up whatever, there should be a button somewhere to take you. I guess you can actually go to Baba right there. I guess you don't really need to, you know. But yeah, so the story tab here, in my opinion, shouldn't really be a thing. Instead, what this should be is a beginner tab, okay? And the beginner tab, in my opinion, should have 1 event that is the condensed version of all of these events that you see right here. So there should be 1 event. Stage 1, you can get training items, and you can just grind it like an unlimited amount of times, right? It'll require a little bit of stamina. It'll get you a really good amount of training items for newer players. So if I need training items, I can go to this event. Stage 1, boom, get a bunch of training items. Stage 2, get my awakening medals. Stage 3, I get my Zenny. Stage 4, I get my support items. In Stage 5, I get my EX skill orbs. This is going to be, again, and you can increase the rate for some of these, or increase the amount of Zenny that you can get, or maybe there's a chance for you to, you know, face a specific enemy or ally or whatever, and if you face them, you get even a bigger bonus. But it should just be one event where this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3, this is stage 4, and this is stage 5. And boom, that's it. The clutter from this is gone. That should all be literally one event here with those 5 stages. If I'm a new player, hey, I need training items. Let me go to beginner. Let me go to the training event, whatever. Let me go to stage 2 or whatever it is and just farm it. Farm it, farm it, farm it, farm it, and boom, you're good to go. One place for everything. Then this tab right here should be the limited tab. And this is where all of the limited attempt events will be, right? So the first one you should see, I love this event right here because they condensed a lot of stuff into it. This one event, one run, gets you Hercule statues, training items, character XP. You can even grind links. Like this is a beautiful event. So they should they should continue to add to that kind of event. This event right here, the Master It Special Technique of Hope, whatever, in my opinion, they should do away with this event entirely and add this stage to this event. I know it's once a week, so you just have this, you know, Turtle School's Intensive Training, and then Turtle School's Intensive Training 2, or whatever you want to call that stage, and have it available only once a week. And again, because you're still training, but once a week you hop into that and you get your link level skill orbs or whatever you want to call them. This event does not need to exist, all right? Because again, it's I just don't see a reason for it to exist. The pen event should also be in here. Every incoming limited event, boom, should be in there. The potential orb stuff should be in here as well, right? Because these again are limited attempts. So story mode, one event where you could instead of story, sorry. You have one event here for beginner that you can get your training items, awakening medals, zenny, support items, and the regular skill orbs. Your limited tab where you have all the limited time events, and maybe there could be even a little text at the top, right? And the little text, let's say like right here, that tells you a little summary of what's going on when you click on that tab. So story, a little text up here would be, clear these events or these stages to equip yourself with all the materials necessary to awaken your characters or to make them stronger. Again, it doesn't have to be that long, but just a little text, right? Boom, limited. Here are all the events that have a limited time, a limited amount of attempts per day or week. Make sure to clear them whenever they're available, right? Boom, done. And maybe there could be like a little red dot at the top here that tells you, hey, there's something here. One of these events became available again. Maybe you should farm it. So when I'm going through here, sometimes players miss out on being able to farm orbs or being able to farm a specific thing. Whenever there's a new stage, or whenever these limited attempts come back, there should be like a little red button at the top of here to let players know, hey, something became available. Let me actually go ahead and farm it. The next stage, this stage right here should just be Dokkan events. Dokkan events. I don't want to see Extreme Z areas. I don't want to see Prime battles. And don't get me, dude, the how do we call it? The way in which these last two are organized is horrendous. Imagine seeing Dokkan event, Extreme Z area, Prime battle, Extreme Z area, Extreme Z area. These two events where you grind free-to-play characters. Like, all of this needs to be organized a lot better, but growth should be called like Dokkan Awaken, maybe. I don't know what you'd call it. Just call it Dokkan. Yeah, it's how fitting. The game is called Dokkan, and you have Dokkan as the middle tab here. This is where you can Dokkan Awaken. The text would be, this is where you Dokkan Awaken all of the Dokkan Fest, characters and Dokkan Fest a lot, whatever the text wants to say. And to make things a lot easier, instead of being able to search by, whatever, please let me search by the name. Let me type in Goku, so I don't have to scroll through all of this. Let me type in Vegeta. Let me type in Piccolo. Let me type in whatever. All right? Boom, done. Then we get to challenge, okay? And this is how I would organize challenge. There should be one event called Red Zone. One event called the Ultimate Red Zone. When you click on that one event called the Ultimate Red Zone, you should have, okay? You should have the different kinds of red zones that there is, right? So you have, again, The event would be called Ultimate Red Zone. You can have whatever characters you want on the thing, or maybe no characters at all. It's just called Ultimate Red Zone. When you click on Ultimate Red Zone, that's when you see this. Ultimate Red Zone Tamagami Diamond Edition. Ultimate Red Zone Pure Saiyan Edition. Ultimate Red Zone this edition. Ultimate Red Zone this edition. That's when you should be seeing all of these. All of these should not be cluttering up this page. Because, dude, look how spread apart they are. I want Red Zone, but I gotta look through a million other events. It's annoying. It doesn't make any sense. So one event called Red Zone, right? Where you can go ahead and see all of the red zones that are, properly placed in there. Then the next event should be something called, I don't know, Prime Battle, right? I guess Prime Battle can be somewhere else too, but the point is Prime Battle. You click on Prime Battle and boom, now you have access to all of the available Prime Battles. So then you see Gohan, then you see Frieza, then you see whoever else is available during that time, right? That's it. And then there should be another event, just one event called Supreme Magnificent Battle. When I click on Supreme Magnificent Battle, the event, that's when I see this stage. That's when I see whatever other stage there is. You know what I mean? That's when I see this one. That's when I see this one. It shouldn't just be cluttering up this page. Could you imagine how much nicer all of this would look if that's the way it actually was? Where I don't have to scroll through a bunch of different events just to get through one red zone. All red zones should be categorized in one place. All Supreme Magnificent Battles should be categorized in one place. All Prime Battles should be, collected into one place. Dude, Dragon Ball History is a perfect example. Dragon Ball History is one event, and you have a bunch of different stages. This is what they need to do. So all of these could be the different red zones that we're looking at before. That's literally a perfect example. Boss Rush is, again, another perfect example for that. The legendary events should be one type of event. One event. Fighting Legends is what they should call it. You click on it, Fighting Legend Goku, Fighting Legend GT Goku, Fighting Legend Vegeta, Fighting Legend Frieza, so on and so forth. That's how they should be categorizing and condensing and making this game a lot more easy to digest. The question here is, what the heck do you do? Oh, Super Battle Road. Same thing. Super Battle Road should be the name of it. And then once you click Super Battle Road, there's like a Super Battle Road, and then there's like an extreme version, or maybe you see how there's like this stage right here, 3 versus Extreme Tech. Imagine this right here being split into 2. So you complete this one on the left, that's just a regular one, and then the one on the right, once you complete it, becomes available, and that's like the extreme version of that stage. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. So again, they can kind of condense Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road as well. Again, the question then becomes, how do you organize all of these other events that don't have any, like Giant Form Clash, Union Master, All Out Battles, Team Battle. There's events like this. Let me see. Battle Hardened Formidable Foes, Festival of Battles. Like, I don't know how you personally would go about organizing those. Let me see. Reign Victorious. Yeah, like, there's so many. I don't know how you'd go about organizing those types of just one-off events. I guess you could just have them, like under all of the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. All the similar kinds of events should be lumped into one event. You click on it, and then boom, you can see all the images and all the stages and whatever else you need to see. Does that make sense? Hopefully. And then Extreme Z Battle. Extreme Z Battle, the layout for the Z Battle tab should be the same as the layout for Dragon Ball Story. When you click on Extreme Z Battle, you should be seeing 2 options. One for Extreme Z Area, and the text underneath would be, this is where you EZA free characters, and the other one should be Extreme Z Battles, not Extreme Z Area. So the EZBs, the Extreme Z Battles. This is where you EZA premium characters, if you want to call it that. Click on Extreme Z Area, and boom, you have access to every single Extreme Z Area in the game whenever they become available. You want to do the actual EZAs, boom, then you have access to all of the EZAs in the game. That is how that should be organized. And again, if I want to have access to a specific EZA, I should not have to scroll like this, and 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 like this. Oh, you think I'm done? No, like this and like that. I shouldn't have to do that. Instead, let me search it up. Let me search it up. Let me type in Broly. Let me type in Frieza. Oh, I wanna, you know, EZA Gohan. Let me look at my Gohan. Like, let me search it up, bro. I shouldn't have to be scrolling through an infinite amount of event. Like, no, let's not do that. All right, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, that there is personally how I would organize this game. Again, 2 tabs, one for Extreme Z areas and Extreme Z battles. Make all the challenge events, group them together. One event for Red Zone, click on it, and that's where you see all the Red Zone images. One event for Fighting Legends, and boom, you see all those events there. One event for Super Battle Road, there you go. Like, this shouldn't even be a thing. Like, all this should literally not be a thing, because they release the Extreme Super Battle Road stages after the Super Battle Road ones drop. You know what I mean? So it's like, this Extreme Super Battle Road should just be an extreme difficulty of the previous stage. Like, this image, none of this should even exist, theoretically. And then you get, like, a different item, right? The same, I don't know. All these one-off events, I guess, should be categorized together. Magnificent Super Battle should be one event. Click on it, you have access to all the images. Growth should just be Dokkan events. The Extreme Z areas, again, we were talking about, they're going to be moving. Prime battles, they'll be moving away. This should just be Dokkan events where you can search up the stuff. Bonus, this should be limited. Give me access to all of the events that have limited runs, and notify me when there's something becomes available. Story mode, this should be beginner. One event that gives me stage 1 for this, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5. Very beginner friendly, very easy to understand, very intuitive, and makes it a lot easier for new players. Like, thankfully, I know what I'm doing, so it makes grinding a little bit easier. But if for a player who knows nothing about Dokkan, this is just very, very, very overwhelming. Very, very overwhelming. And then back to, like I said before, a lot of these things should just be condensed or removed altogether. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think an update that would do all of those things would make the game a lot easier. Would allow Dokkan to delete so many assets in the game that they don't even need to be in the game at all. And thus preserving a little bit of space. Again, I don't really, if you were to do all of what I said, I don't know how much space you would actually end up saving. Especially because there's so many awakening medals in the game that, like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example when it comes to the awakening medals. Like here, for awakening this Goku, you need all of these, right? Like, I get it, but this should just all be one medal that you just grind. Instead of grinding it 77, 87, 97, 107, instead of grinding 107 medals of all these different types, just go ahead, okay, and tell me to grind 107 of the Goku medal. You know what I mean? Or have this Goku medal, and then one other medal with the images of Piccolo, Krillin, and Chaozu on it. So just one medal. And tell me to grind 30 of them, if you will. And then remove the other ones from the game. It's going to make Awakening so much easier to understand. Awakening so much simpler. And it's going to allow Dokkan to get straight to the point when it comes to awakening these characters. Because we're at a point now where, like, we don't need to be having all of this in the game. Before, sure, it made sense. We never really questioned it. But right now, like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to have me farm 50 medals of 10 different types. Just tell me to grind 50 medals of one type and boom. Like, no one cares about, you know, having a medal for Goku. Like, just make it, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed, and the grind of mine will continue once more. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.